Hi, lovelies. Happy New Year. It has been a while, but again, I had almost 2 years worth of a reading slump, and thankfully, about October of this year, my reading slump disappeared. And it slowly died down, and my love of reading started to spike. And yeah, here we are, 2026. Who would have thunk it, huh? Anyway, today I am here to do a first video of the year, and I thought that it would make a little bit of sense to kind of discuss what my goal is for reading for this year, because the last 2 years it's been all over the place. Yes, my goal has stayed the same the last 2 years, and yes, I did manage to complete my goal last year, but 2024 I did not. But last year, December 31st, I ended up mass panic reading through children's books that came back into my possession from my childhood to actually make my goal of 150 books. And I don't like mass panic reading at all, but I did it, and I read the 150 books last year. But this year, I'd actually like to read it and be comfortable with it. So it's a challenge. 150 is a huge goal, and I feel like once I set that I wanted to hit 150, it became a lot harder to actually hit 150. So here's going this year for 150 in confidence without the fear of, am I going to make it in time? I'm on Goodreads. I set my goal to 150. We'll see what kind of comes from there. I also still want to do, some TBR takedown, because I still have a lot of books on my shelf that I have never read or I want to reread. And because of that, I tried that crate method, and I think that just further pushed me into a reading slump. I was not loving it. So we're going to try a 2.0 version of it, which is I have in this paper box here a ton of cards with names of books on it. And these books are books that have been on my shelf since 2014. Now, what my goal is for every book I read from here, for a physical book, I can read a physical book anywhere else on my shelf. So every time I read one from 2014, I can grab one that has been sitting on my shelf. Maybe I recently got it. Maybe it's an older one. Who cares? If it piques my interest, I'm going to read it. So I am kind of doing that to counterbalance, because I think forcing myself to read from one small section of books was also encouraging a reading slump, which I was not loving. Now, the other flip side is I lasted almost 2 years on my book buying ban. Woo! Yay! I lasted almost 2 years, and then I broke. And I was not a huge fan of breaking my book buying ban. But what I've come to realize is I don't want to restart the book buying ban. What I want to do is kind of modify it. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to modify it by having it that for every 10 books I get rid of, I can purchase a book. Because I don't always get rid of a ton of books, but I've also noticed with what I was reading that have been on my shelf since 2014, a lot of these were no longer fitting with what I liked to read. And I ended up getting rid of quite a few books, actually, that I read when I was doing the crate reading. So I'm hopeful that I don't have as many duds on my shelf, but this will also allow me the luxury to not feel as bad when I do decide to go and purchase a book. I'm not going to be like, oh, I shouldn't. I'm on a book buying ban. I can't. I really want to read this though. So it'll kind of compensate for that situation. Now, one thing that I did find was, because I was in a reading slump for almost 2 years, I kind of revisited and found new hobbies and new loves and things like that. So those are going to be continuing as well. Will I share those here on this channel? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But yes, I would like to also have more content that I'm putting out here on my channel. This is a hobby for me, so it's not something that if I don't do it, it's the end of the world. But I also noticed that when I was trying to do the right things, where it's write out goal plan so that you can upload on a regular basis or script things out, it was just adding too much stress for me, and it was taking away the joy of this being a hobby for me. And because of that, I'm not going to be scripting anything. So what you see is what you'll get. But I do want to be putting out more content here because this channel, since I was 20, has been, you know, a constant for me. Maybe not like a consistent uploading schedule, but it is something that has been there for a while for me. And on top of it, it's just something that I like doing. So hopefully I can be putting more content out this coming year than I have in previous years and be a bit more consistent with uploading. But the other thing as well is maybe some of those things that I really like and some of the hobbies I'm picking up and whatnot, maybe I decide to share that here. So maybe you might see some non-bookish content. I don't know. But the main thing you will see, as always, will be bookish because that is what I started. I started booktubing for a reason because obviously you can see from all the books behind me, I love books and I love reading, so it makes sense to keep that as the forefront. But as I said, this is a hobby for me, so if I end up sharing something just because that's what I want to share, you might end up seeing something that's not bookish related here on this page. Whatever kind of hits my fancy for the video, you guys will get to see. So now that you've kind of heard my ramblings for what I would like to do this year when it comes to reading and for this channel, I thought I would kind of put it back to you. Do you guys have reading goals for this year? What book apps are you using? I know there's a lot of different ones. So much more, and I have no idea what half of them are anymore, but I use Goodreads. When I finally got into using a book app, it was Goodreads, and I am a beta tester on Goodreads, but I don't know if I would switch to a different one just because I have gotten kind of comfortable with Goodreads. But what's your favorite book app that you use, and why is that your favorite one? Like, what does it have that kind of drew you to it in the first place? And yeah, I hope that you guys have a happy and safe 2026. And here's to lots of reading together. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, and I will see you next time. Bye.